Today on the show, we talk about what else? Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy's Volume 2. All this and more on What the Hell Did We Just Watch? Welcome to another episode of What the Hell Did We Just Watch? I'm your host, Lumotional Lou, and this is the show that helps spread TV and movie awareness. How's everyone doing? I hope everyone had a good week. I had a good weekend. I got to see Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. What did I think? I think the film was good. That's it. Kind of underwhelming, if you ask me. It's not terrible. Now, before I start talking, if you're wondering, hey, what happened to the clip? Due to the fact that it's very soundtrack heavy, this film, and every trailer or TV spot that they posted on YouTube or whatever, it's all music, it's all licensed music. So I was just refrained from putting it up this week because I don't want to get flagged for or whatever. All right, so just going straight down to it. But back to what I was saying is that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is far from terrible. Don't get it twisted. It's good. The problem is it's not great, and I really wanted it to be great. I'm not trying to say that it needed to beat the first one, because I think the first one was pretty amazing, and on a lot of levels. You know, it's very well written. The chemistry is great. The comedy is on point, and there's a really good story to tell. With Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 is quite the opposite. It's a good movie. It's not a big story. If you ask me, it's about a 30-minute cartoon in a 2-hour movie. And I'll get to that when what I mean in a little bit. But what I'm trying to say is that I feel like they were lazy. The comedy was not on point, not all the time. It didn't feel genuine, or it just felt like that it was time to tell a joke. You know, I feel like it was a little bit forced, and let's just go into what I like first, right? You know, because I'm going to be saying quite a bit of negatives, but let me tell you what I did like. I did like that the film was. It was bigger in scale. It was a bigger film, but it was not a better film. I like the fact that they took their time explaining what Eagle, the living planet, was, instead of just, with the whole father thing. I'm talking about like what it was. Like, they really broke it down for a lot of people to understand. And it's going to be, if you ask me, it's going to be very hard for you not to understand. I mean, it's really well planned. It's really well written out. That's pretty much it. The villain was good. A lot of people liked this villain more than the Kree, the one from the first film. I don't agree. I'm not saying that he was terrible. I'm just saying that it was mediocre. There's way more things that I didn't like, and it's mostly because I feel that Marvel is playing the safe game, and it pisses me the fuck off. 10 years of this, 21 unique properties, and they can only play it safe. I know they have a bigger picture, but I think that they're sacrificing quality of film just so they can have this kind of like journey with the Marvel Cinematic Universe and keep it moving somehow without feeling like there's going to be some kind of like end to anything. It really pisses me off. The more I think about it, the more I not that I hate the movie or hate the film, is the more that it pisses me off that I feel like we're in a standstill. Now, don't get it twisted. Like I said, the film is not terrible. It's far from a terrible film. but I can't help but to feel a certain way about it because I feel that it's lazy. The film is lazy, okay? Sean Gunn, the director, he wrote something pretty amazing, but if you ask me, I just think it was because he had years and years and years and years to prep the first film. Or in this one, I think he had like a year and a half to prep this film, not counting filming thing. But this is where, because I remember when I saw the first film, blown away. I was like, I want to see what this guy is doing. Sean Gunn, the director, and I wasn't really impressed with his line of work before. It was just all good stuff, and then some things that I really didn't care for. I think this film is where it puts him. This sequel is where it puts him where his actual chi is at, and it's only in the good world. His writing actually really came out in this, and this is apparently I think that he doesn't work well under pressure or under a short time frame, because that's the way Marvel Studios has everything now. Everything is a short time frame, and I think that this is where his weakness is. He doesn't have the time that he had to create something. I'm not saying he did something terrible. I will keep repeating that. He just did something lazy. Now, I'm gonna go into what I didn't like. And there's a lot. Like I said, it's about a 30 to 45 minute movie in a 2 hour and 15-minute movie. I think that the story is very, very, very hollow. What I thought was going to be the side story of the film ended up being the main story of the film. And the main story of the film, it wasn't that good, because I don't think that we should sit down for as long as we sat down to watch that. This film had a lot of fluff in it. And what I mean by fluff is that they spread out this 30-minute movie with a whole bunch of comedy in the middle of it. And then the film had 2 subplots, and one was okay, and the other one was, why is this a subplot? And it was just because they didn't know how to fill this film in. The opening act, the first act of this film, carries on throughout the entire movie, when I feel that it should have just stayed in the first act of the film. Because I remember watching it, and when the first act finished, I was like, why are we still talking about these people? Why is this still a thing? And they literally carried it throughout the entire film. It's literally like that. And I'm like, why did they do that? Why couldn't they just, do their thing and then get away with it or accomplish it and just be done with it, and then carry on to the next story or the next plot into the film? That's one of the things that pisses me off, is the film shows that they didn't have much to tell. So they literally took a good side story and made it into an okay main story, because it ain't good to tell it for the entire film. Then they took 2 subplots that were okay of a story that felt forced at times, and then they made it an even not so interesting short story, second plot and third plot story. The second plot was okay, and the third plot was useless. It was kind of meaningless, and it was there for, I believe, comedic relief, because every time that the first act stuff came back into the film, it was there. People mostly laughing about what was going on. I don't think that The Grudge should have been for that long, and it's kind of silly if you ask me. I just, anything. I just don't think that's just not the way you make a film. I'm sorry. You don't take the first act and then carry it on and just keep making the entire movie keep going and going and going. It's just, the more I think about it as I'm trying to gather my thoughts and talk to you guys, it just annoys me. It annoys the fuck out of me. There was this one of the second subplots, the second subplot of the film, which was the second most important, I believe, of the main story to the subplot of the story, is there was this story of Yondu and Raccoon, and they gave him kind of like this dynamic where there was a mutiny on the Ravagers, and Yondu and becomes imprisoned, you know. And I don't want to spoil too much. I'm just saying what's just what's on the surface. And they put in a Yondu Rocket Raccoon kind of like story in there, and I'm like, this feels like nothing where the first film was. They barely even talked. Why are they having this conversation like they had problems before? You know what I mean? Like as a person to raccoon, or rat as he says it. It wasn't there in the first one. I don't remember them having a dynamic or even any kind of like exchange of words in a negative or even positive way, in any kind of way. The only thing I know is that they were part of the same team at the end of the first film. And then like all of a sudden they tried to establish this kind of like relationship that was subliminal the whole time. And I'm like, where did this come from? Maybe this movie should have been a part 3, because it's kind of written like a part 3, it's kind of like an ending to a journey of the team, you know, and starting a whole new, you know, way of going. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Maybe that's what it feels like. It's just because there's something that they're trying to tell us that was there, or that, you know, that was there in the past. And I'm like, it wasn't there in the last movie, and I don't even see it here in this movie, because for the most part of it, Yondu and Rocket Raccoon are not together for the majority of this film until the very middle of it. You know what I mean? So in the first film, they weren't even together at all. You know, even way less. And then in this one, they put them a little bit more together, but not enough to establish a relationship to the point where they were talking about certain things. And I'm just like, this feels forced. And I don't, and even, you know, I didn't like that. You know? Drax. Let me tell you about Drax. One of the things that I loved about Drax in the first film is that outside of his negative emotions and bent on revenge on the Kree and all that, one of the things I loved about Drax is that he was, I felt, the muscle of the team. The one that kind of like, he's the one that goes first. You know what I mean? And very impulsive. And that's the reason why he got in trouble a lot in the first film. And I really liked that, because there was a lot of really cool emotions in all of them. But in the second one, there's nothing for him. He was actually one of the most useless characters in the film. And what proves his uselessness was the fact that the entire time of the film, he was used to make jokes and be funny. And I think that it takes something away from Dave Bautista's acting ability when he became Drax, because I know a lot of people were very surprised and also very, they were very pleased with the fact that he was acting, and he was acting very well. And in this one, it was like, damn, dude, like, what happened? You used for nothing. They didn't use you for anything. And that's just so, it's kind of depressing, if you ask me. He literally, all he did was spit out jokes. I think pretty much 90% of the time his mouth was open talking. It was just a release joke. And I'm like, what happened to your purpose, bro? Like, literally, what happened to your purpose? Is just as useless and meaningless as Baby Groot, who even, you know, when I saw the first trailer, I knew what he was going to be for, because he's too small to even do anything. So I knew that he was just going to be there for eye candy and for people to be all, make people laugh and all that stuff. One of the things that pisses me off is that the director, he said that he promises people that this film is not made to sell Baby Groot toys. He was wrong. And he was also right at the same time, because the reason why he was wrong is because, yes, this film, I believe, was angled, and it still is angled, and even the trailers prove that, and the TV spots prove that, and the sponsorships prove that, because they got Baby Groot all over the place. So it is made for that, but also I think that this film was made to sell soundtracks. And what I mean by that is that the first film just felt natural. It made sense why the music was there, because he loves listening to music. The music didn't feel forced. It just felt like it was nicely placed throughout the film. In this one, I feel like they're doing it just so they can sell soundtracks. And I'm like, and what I mean by that is like, they played one song in this film 3 times. What kind of shit is that? Like, who? Come on, man! Like, and it's not even the theme song of the film. It's the best song in the film because it's a fucking good song, "The Chain" by Fleetwood Mac. But why are you playing it 3 times? And then on top of it, you know, like every time there was a quiet moment, it was to play a song. And now everyone's into playing the songs too, and that's good. You know, that's fine. Especially Rocket Raccoon. Now he needs music to do things, and I'm just like, what the? Where do they get this shit? You know what I mean? The person that likes playing music is not Rocket Raccoon. I'm not saying that he shouldn't listen to music, but I just the way that the characters evolved for me, what they evolved into from part 1, I just feel like I think it's a loss. I'm sorry. It's not what I was looking for. It's not what, you know, I know a lot of people that I know that it wasn't what they were looking for. They weren't looking for a cartoon. And I got a cartoon. I was looking to watch the sequel to a film that had a lot of heart, a lot of really cool dynamic, a lot of good chemistry between people. And they gave them all, what I feel is like a whole new chemistry, a whole new dynamic, a whole new, basically, relationship between each other. You know, Gamora is not happy with Star-Lord, with Peter. Why? They were totally fine at the end of the first film. So why do they feel like they have this kind of tension? Where did it come from? That's what I'm trying to say. Did I miss something here? Was there like a little middle story somewhere that I had to see? Did it happen in the animated cartoon? Because I feel like that's one of the screenplays they probably took. Because I think this story is only good enough to tell it as an animated movie or an animated cartoon. Because they do have an animated cartoon series, and I feel like that it was only as good as that. I don't think that they wrote anything better, and in some cases, I don't think they did anything better. It's just bigger. It's a bigger film. It's a beautiful film. It's not a very good movie, you know. And now I'm gonna have to get used to the fact that everything that, you know, from now on, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is just probably gonna be a comedy show. The movie felt more spoofish than the first one too. Like, instead of a guy that grew up, you know, in the early 80s, in the 70s to early 80s, you know, in the 70s, actually, not early 80s, but in the 70s, and then he got taken away, and then that's all he got. You know, so what are they going to do with that? Are they going to keep playing all 70s music? He's going to have to make it to Earth someday, right? But there's a scene that Rocket Raccoon and Yondu take that really upset the fuck out of me. And it was all just for comedy, you know, and their faces get all distorted and everything. And I'm just like, this is a cartoon. I can't stop talking about the fact that this is a cartoon. And it upsets the fuck out of me. It's a lazy movie. It's a very lazy movie. It's way off base. It's way off base in comedy, action, and drama. You know, they just way off. You know, I don't understand what the fuck happened. Just got one real question to ask now. I think I talked way too much about how I feel about the Guardians of the Galaxy. It was good. It's not terrible, far from it. It's just that Marvel's killing me. Marvel's killing me, and that's the reason why I'm enjoying what DC's doing. And I don't care what anybody says, but I can't take this funny shit no more. Especially the way that they're doing things. I think that after Avengers, they have not been able to top it. Guardians came close, the first one, but nothing has come close since. The Captain America series still remains, I think, the best series of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. And I don't even think they'll be able to top that. In quality of movie, quality of story, and quality of just everything that a film has to offer as an individual film and also as a trilogy. We'll see when Guardians 3 comes out, but I know for a fact that there's a very huge negative of part of the bridge between 1 and 3. You know, what's their purpose going to be in the third film? I mean, in the Avengers film, because if they're just going to be there just to tell jokes, I don't want anything about it. You know, I need to see them guarding the galaxy, and they didn't do that much. You know, but the segue. Why can't Marvel make better movies? Why do they have to be in the good side? You know, why is The Avengers the greatest film they've ever made? Because I believe is the most amazing film they've ever made, next to Guardians of the Galaxy. But, you know, like I said, I don't feel that Guardians came a little close to, you know, being better, but they always hit a home run with their first films. And then all of a sudden, once they're releasing sequels, it's kind of like, well, now that we have you, we can pretty much give you whatever the fuck we want, and you're just going to just like it. But I've been seeing between the lines, because that's how I get emotional about everything, because I always read between the lines. I can't just sit down and enjoy it, because I'm not a blind fucking, you know, automaton. I'm not a fucking robot that just expresses anger or happiness. I see between the lines. I see the gray area. I see real purposes on why certain films are made. You know, and ever since Avengers 2, I've been seeing that. I've been seeing the kind of like somewhat ugly face that Marvel has and its intentions on how they want to make their films, and what their real main agenda is in terms of not just making the films, but, you know, their other agendas, and that's fine. But the thing is that don't put it in my fucking movie. That's what I want. Sell your fucking toys. Don't make the movies to sell the toys. That's what I'm trying to say. Power Rangers became that. Not the film, but like the series in general. The series came out, it was this fun, cool thing, and then all of a sudden, believe it or not, it became a show to sell more toys. And they were open about it. That's what I'm trying to say. They were making the movies so they can make more, the TV shows and the movies, so they can sell more toys. Not to make a better movie, not to make a good movie. Now, what I mean by in terms of why can't Marvel make better films than good? Like, why can't they surpass the good? Because their films are starting to become not memorable. I'm not really talking about it. Doctor Strange was good, but I'm not talking about it. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 came out. I watched it. I'm not talking about it, except for in a negative way, in terms of like what's wrong with the film. Because I mostly have found people that have talked to me and talked about what's wrong with the film, except for a certain few that only liked it because it was funny. Now, if you went to go see this film and only expected to see funny stuff, then the film actually has succeeded in that. And I'm happy for you that you liked it, but I wasn't looking for a comedy 2 hour. Not only that is what I'm saying, because the first film was funny, but it was written better. The comedy is written way, way better. But what I'm trying to say is that I feel that Marvel is holding back on purpose, because I think they know that because of where they stand, that there's no real competition for them, that they have stopped consciously, not unconsciously. They consciously said, slow it down. We don't need to be so detailed anymore in making a better film, that pretty much anything we do, they're going to like it. They're going to watch it, and then we're going to make, hundreds of millions of dollars to keep making more films. Regardless, the actors are getting paid more to do less, because now their presence on screen has become a huge thing. And this goes for everyone. Look at how much Robert Downey Jr. makes becoming Iron Man, being Iron Man. And most people have been disappointed with the films he's been in. He has shined in all the films. He has been awesome in all the films. But the films that he's in are mediocre or good. You know what I mean? In my opinion, they're all good. So far, they're all good, except for Avengers and except for Guardians of the Galaxy. But they've all been good. Some very good, but they lack the greatness of being a great film or even an amazing film, because I don't think that they've made amazing films. What I mean is that I can still count with one hand how many amazing films they've made. Two. I just want Marvel Studios to kind of be more ambitious. Know that there's an audience out there that really, really gives a shit about watching the quality of their movies, and not just comic book fans, because that's the thing. Comic book fans are very easily satisfied, easier than you think. Trust me when I tell you, regardless if they say something negative or overly positive about any of these films, they still are easily amused, I feel, but they're losing their quality of film lovers. They're losing us, slowly. We're becoming more and more upset and disenfranchised, disenchanted, and we're starting to not like being on board this cinematic universe train. Now, for the most part, me, L'Emotional, you still got me. I'm still going to keep going because that's the comic book version person in me. I like doing things like that. I love cinematic universes. I love those kind of, I love that kind of a world and all that stuff. So I'm down for that stuff. You know what I mean? But I'm going to just leave it at that. Just tell me what you guys think. Leave your comments below about what you felt about Guardians of the Galaxy 2. If you think I'm wrong, or if you think you have something to say or maybe add to it, go right ahead. You can follow me on Facebook.com/whatthehellpcast, Twitter.com/thehellpcast, Instagram.com/whatthehellpcast, on YouTube.com, SoundCloud, YouTube, Podbean, Podbay, just all the podcasting places. What the hell did we just watch? Just search there, subscribe, comment, like, share. Just let me know what you guys are talking. What you guys are talking about. What do you guys feel about this film? Because I want to know feedbacks. Okay, but I guess I'll leave you with that. Again, Guardians of the Galaxy was good. It's just far from great. Okay, and just think about what I said in terms of like what I felt about Marvel Studios and why they're lacking to make better films and to achieve greatness in their films and just stay in the good, side. That's it, But it's been great. This is L'Emotional Lou, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, and I just got one thing to say. It's been L'Emotional.